Welcome, sleepy one. I'll be your storyteller tonight. Before we begin, please like and subscribe for more bedtime stories. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And now, close your eyes. Let's begin. I still remember the day I landed my first real job. Not because it was exciting, but because of everything that came after. After high school, I didn't have the luxury of drifting or finding myself. My parents were barely scraping by. My dad's back injury meant no more long shifts at the factory, and my mom's diner wages just kept the lights flickering. So the day I graduated, I made a quiet promise to find something steady. For a month straight, I filled out applications until my hand cramped, rode buses across town that reeked of oil and rain, sat through stiff interviews where smiles never reached anyone's eyes. Most went nowhere. Then somehow luck blinked my way, or at least that's what I thought. A small private accounting firm on the outskirts of Cedar Bluff, Pennsylvania, Dawson and Creekman Financial, called me back. The building wasn't much. 2 stories, brick facade, cracked parking lot. But it felt like a beginning. There were 23 of us at the final interview. Only 2 got hired, me and a girl named Kara Mills. She was about my age, maybe a year younger, with auburn hair that caught sunlight like copper wire. We clicked instantly, nervous, broke, desperate to belong. But the others, they weren't welcoming. From day one, something felt off. The office buzzed with the drone of fluorescence, smelled faintly of old carpet and burnt coffee. Yet beneath that ordinary surface was tension, tight, silent, watchful. The way they looked at us made me feel like we'd wandered into a room mid-secret. No one talked to us unless they had to. They whispered behind partitions, glanced over shoulders, and when we passed through the hallway, someone always accidentally brushed too close. During lunch, Kara and I sat at the far table, chewing in awkward silence while the others gathered together, laughing too loudly, eyes flicking our way. One day, Kara leaned in, voice barely above a breath. "Do they always have to act like we're ghosts?" I forced a laugh. Maybe it's just new guy hazing. She scanned the room. Then they're taking it too far. And she was right. Sometimes when I stayed late finishing reports, I'd feel someone watching. The hallway lights would hum, flicker, and in the reflection of the glass partition, I'd catch movement, just a flicker. But when I turned, nothing. It wasn't just paranoia. Once, Kara left her purse in the break room and swore someone had gone through it. Another time, I found my locked drawer slightly ajar, key still cold in my pocket. We didn't complain. We needed the paycheck more than we needed answers. Then came the Wednesday that changed everything. Tyler, one of the senior staff, slick black hair, arrogance practically cologne, strode up to our lunch table. "Hey rookies," he said, leaning on the table like he owned it. "You two doing anything Friday night?" Kara looked up cautiously. "Not really, why?" He grinned. "My buddy's throwing a birthday bash. Brad's place. Everyone from the office will be there. You should come. Blend in a little. Stop looking like you're scared of us." His tone curled with mockery. The others nearby snickered. Kara gave me a look, equal parts curiosity and dread. I shrugged. "Sure, why not?" Tyler's grin widened. "Cool. Ridgeway Drive, house number 42. Don't be late. We start after 9. Friday came too fast." Kara picked me up in her beat-up blue Honda. She wore a denim jacket, hair pulled back tight, knuckles pale around the steering wheel. "You sure about this?" she asked as we passed the last streetlight out of town. "Not really," I admitted. "But maybe if we show up, they'll finally stop treating us like outsiders." She sighed. "Yeah, maybe." The GPS led us off the main road onto a dirt driveway swallowed by trees. The tires crunched gravel as the forest closed in around us. Then the house appeared. Massive, 3 stories tall, white pillars rising from stone steps, every window dark. No lights. No music, no laughter. Just 2 parked cars, one of them unmistakably Tyler's black Ford. "Doesn't really look like a party," Kara muttered. We stepped out, holding the small gift we'd brought, a bottle of bourbon wrapped clumsily in a paper bag. The air was still, heavy, smelling faintly of pine and something metallic. When we rang the bell, Lauren and Mitch, 2 co-workers I barely knew, opened the door. Their smiles were too wide, too practiced. "Welcome, welcome," Lauren sang, her voice almost too bright. "Come in, everyone's downstairs." The moment we crossed the threshold, I knew something was wrong. There were no balloons, no music. No smell of food or drinks, just cold air and a silence that pressed against your ribs. The kind of quiet that makes you feel like you shouldn't be there at all. We followed them down a narrow hallway, our footsteps echoing on the wooden floor until it opened into a wide room, empty except for what was in the center. Kara stopped short. On the floor was a massive red circle, drawn in rough strokes, sticky and dark like dried blood. Inside it, pentagrams, strange symbols, scattered candles, bits of bone. The walls were smeared with the same reddish markings, crude and uneven, like someone had made them with shaking hands. Around the circle stood about a dozen people, all in black robes, hoods pulled low, faces hidden. My stomach turned. "This isn't funny," Kara whispered, stepping back from behind one of the masks. A voice said, calm and muffled, "Relax, it's a birthday ritual. Brad's idea." "What kind of ritual?" I asked, my voice trembling. From the staircase, someone descended slowly. Brad, the so-called birthday boy. He wasn't wearing a mask, just a dark red robe and a grin that didn't look right on any human face. "Evening, friends," he said lightly. "Glad you made it. Welcome to my party." Kara's fingers dug into my arm. "This isn't normal." Brad lifted his hand like a preacher quieting a crowd. Now, no need to be scared. Think of it as an initiation." "Into what?" I asked. His grin widened. "You'll see, but let's make it fun. Only one of you walks out alive." The room broke into laughter. I froze. "What the hell are you talking about?" "Rules are simple," Brad said, turning toward a table where a shotgun rested. He picked it up with care, almost affection. "You've got 1 minute to hide anywhere in the house. After that, I come find you. The one I find loses." Kara's eyes widened. "This is sick." "Relax," Tyler said from across the room, smirking. "It's just a game." But the way he said game made my stomach knot. Brad checked his wristwatch. 1 minute starts. Now, the lights dimmed. The group began chanting, low, rhythmic, in some language that curled around my ears like smoke. Kara grabbed my arm. "Run," we split. She bolted up the stairs. I tore through the hallway toward what looked like a kitchen. The place was a maze. Locked doors, sheet-covered furniture, the air thick with dust. Each step on the wooden floor groaned beneath me. I dove under a massive oak table, crouching low. Heart slamming so hard I thought it might give me away. Then came the sound. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. Come out, wherever you are," Brad sang, his voice teasing, almost giddy. I held my breath. My pulse roared in my ears. The steps drew closer. Then silence. Maybe he'd gone upstairs. Maybe he was after Kara. A voice whispered right behind me. "There you are." I spun around. Brad stood inches away, shotgun leveled at my face, grin splitting wider. My whole body went numb. He pulled the trigger. Click. A cold stream of water hit my cheek. Brad doubled over, laughing. "Gotcha." Tyler whooped from the doorway. "Best initiation ever." Brad was crying from laughter now. "You should have seen your face, man." I just stared, shaking. "You mean, this was a joke?" Brad nodded, wiping his eyes. "A prank. Office tradition. We do it every year for the newbies. You're officially one of us now." Kara came running down the stairs, pale, breathless. When she saw everyone laughing, her face twisted. "You psychos." "We thought we were going to die." Lauren smirked, folding her arms. "Welcome to Dawson and Creekman, sweetheart." Brad raised the fake shotgun like a trophy. "Best birthday ever." But the laughter broke off when a sound came from upstairs, a heavy thud followed by a sharp scream. Everyone went still. Brad's grin faltered. "Who's still up there?" Tyler called out, uneasy. "Probably someone drunk." Before he could finish, the lights flickered once, twice, then every bulb in the room exploded at once, glass raining down like hail. Darkness swallowed us. Someone screamed, closer this time. When the emergency lights flickered back on, I wished they hadn't. Lauren's body was slumped against the wall. Her throat was slit clean, blood pooling beneath her shoes. Tyler shouted, "Jesus Christ, what the hell is this?" Brad dropped the shotgun. "This isn't funny anymore." "Who did that?" In the center of the room, inside the pentagram, something moved. A shape. A figure. When the light steadied, we saw her. Kara. But not the Kara I'd run with. Her face was ghostly pale, her eyes wide and glassy, her mouth stretched into a slow, unnatural smile. She stepped inside the circle and whispered, "You all wanted to summon something, right?" Brad stammered, "Kara, what are you?" She tilted her head, voice soft and wrong. "Finishing your game." Before anyone could react, the candles flared high. Flames licked the walls, the air thickened with heat. Papers caught fire. The smell of burning hair and metal filled the room. Tyler tried to run, but something invisible slammed him into the wall. His neck twisted at a grotesque angle. Brad staggered backward, choking. You're doing this." Kara smiled wider. "You called for it. You wanted the devil at your party, well." Her grin split wider, eyes glowing faintly red. "You got me instead." Then she laughed, a sound that wasn't human. The flames roared higher. One by one, people fell, screaming, choking, blood spilling from their eyes as smoke filled the air. I crawled for the door, coughing, lungs burning. When I looked back, Kara stood in the center of the inferno, hair whipping in the heat, ash spiraling around her like a storm. "Seth," she said softly. "See you Monday." Then the ceiling collapsed. When I woke, I was outside on the lawn covered in soot. Fire trucks, police, the house reduced to charred bones. A paramedic knelt beside me. "You're lucky, son. You're the only one we found alive." They never found Kara's body. The report said it was a gas leak. No mention of blood. No symbols. No chanting. That Monday, I went back to work. The office was silent, scrubbed clean of memory. A new batch of hires sat where the others had once laughed. And there she was, Kara, sitting at her desk like nothing had ever happened. She looked at me, smiled faintly, and whispered, "Hey, aren't you glad we're not the new ones anymore?" I always thought my 18th birthday would be the best night of my life. Turns out, it was the night I learned I was never really human. It started simple. My dad sliding a small envelope across the breakfast table. "Happy birthday, kid," he said, smiling behind his chipped mug of black coffee. "You've been asking for something big, so here it is." I tore the envelope open and pulled out a brass key, old and heavy, a red ribbon looped through it. "What's this?" I asked, grinning. He leaned back, smirking. "It's for the lake house. You've got it all weekend. Bring whoever you want, go nuts, just don't burn the place down, all right?" My mom sighed, lowering her newspaper. "You're really encouraging him to throw a party there?" "That house gives me the creeps." Dad chuckled. "It's a cabin by the water, Anna, not a haunted asylum." I laughed quietly, heart racing. After months of exams, stress, and near breakdowns, a weekend like that sounded like salvation. By Friday evening, my car was packed, beer clinking in the back seat, music blaring from half-broken speakers, everyone yelling over each other. The air tasted like freedom. "Bro, this place is insane," Jake shouted as we pulled up. "You didn't tell us there's a dock." "Yeah," I said proudly. "Dad bought it years ago. We hardly use it anymore." The cabin sat at the edge of Coldwater Lake, old timber walls wrapped in ivy, the backyard stretching straight into dark woods. There was a fire pit, a pool, and a narrow pier that vanished into black, glassy water. By 9, the house pulsed with life, lights flashing, bass thumping, voices shouting. Someone poured vodka into a watermelon. Someone else was already skinny dipping. The night roared with youth, wild and endless. Near midnight, I climbed onto the pool deck, a champagne bottle in hand. "To 18, I yelled. Foam exploded into the air as everyone cheered. Cold bubbles ran down my face, laughter echoing off the trees. It felt perfect, untouchable, until I looked up. Beyond the fence at the edge of the woods, someone stood watching. A woman. Her posture was wrong, too still, her arms limp at her sides. The faint garden lights caught her eyes, wide, glassy, unblinking, and a slow smile curved her lips. "Yo, Tyler," Jake shouted. "Get over here, man!" I blinked and she was gone. I told myself it was some drunk hiker, but a chill had already sunk into my chest, deep and stubborn. By 3 a.m., most of my friends were out cold, some on couches, others by the pool. I was too wired to sleep. Lying back on the lounger, half drunk and half dreaming, I watched the moon ripple across the lake. The air was cool, quiet, perfect, until a wet breath touched my face. Soft, too close. My eyes flew open. She was there, inches from me. That same woman. Her grin stretched unnaturally wide, teeth crooked and yellowed, one missing. Her skin was pale, cracked like paper left in the rain. What the hell? How did you get in here? I choked out. She tilted her head, voice low and rasping. Happy birthday, Tyler. It's time to come home. What? Before I could move, a scream tore through the house, then another. I stumbled to my feet and ran inside. Blood. Everywhere, the walls, the floor, the furniture dripping with it. Not splattered, coated thick and dark. My friends stood frozen, shaking. None of them were hurt, but the smell, iron, wet, suffocating, filled every breath. Where the hell did this come from? Jake shouted. I shook my head, backing away. I don't know. A voice inside me whispered, she did this. I bolted back outside. The woman was gone, but faint laughter drifted through the trees. Jake grabbed my shoulder and Tyler. Don't go out there, man. I'll be back. Lock the doors, I said, snatching my flashlight and jacket. The woods swallowed me whole. Every twig snapped, tightening my chest. My light flickered. Hey, lady. Who the hell are you? My voice vanished into the wind. Then I heard it. Low, rhythmic, whispering through the trees, a chant. Or Refitanis Aetanis Benedicta. My stomach turned cold. I followed the sound into a small clearing and froze. A circle of fire burned in the dirt. Around it, a group of figures in red robes swayed in slow unison, their hoods hiding their faces. The air reeked of burnt flesh, thick and oily, making my stomach twist. And standing at the center was her, the woman from the woods. Her eyes glowed orange in the firelight. Welcome home, Tyler, she said softly, her tone unsettlingly gentle, almost maternal. You've grown so much. What the hell are you talking about? I shouted, voice cracking. Who are you people? She stepped closer, raising her blood-stained hands. I am your mother. My chest locked. What? Did your parents never tell you? She whispered. How they found you in these woods. How they stole you from me. I shook my head, trembling. You're insane. You were born here, child, she hissed. Born under the night of Blackfire. You are the son of the Lord below, the one they call the Dark One. I stumbled backward, heart hammering. No, you're crazy. My parents, they lied, she snapped. They feared you. They took you from us before the ritual was complete. The air seemed to pulse around me, waves of heat rising from the fire. Then distant screams shattered the night, my friends. I turned, spotting an orange glow spreading through the trees. The lake house. It was burning. No! I ran, branches tearing at my arms, lungs raw. By the time I reached the clearing, flames were bursting through the windows. My friends were trapped inside, faces at the glass, pounding, screaming my name. The doors wouldn't move. I kicked, pulled, screamed until my throat ripped, but the fire devoured everything too fast. Then the screams faded, leaving only the crackle of burning wood and the reflection of fire trembling across the lake. When I got home at dawn, I could barely breathe. I pounded on the door until Dad opened it, half asleep, hair a mess. Tyler, Jesus Christ, what happened to you? Dad, I gasped. They're all dead. Everyone's dead. He grabbed my shoulders, shaking. Calm down, what happened? There was this woman, I cried. In the woods. She said you stole me from her, that I'm not your son. My mom appeared in her robe, face pale as bone. Tyler, don't listen to— Or is it true? I shouted. They froze. Tell me!
Dad's mouth quivered.
Son, we found you near Coldwater Woods. You were just a baby. Your parents were gone. Before he could finish, his skin began to split, thin cracks spreading like dry earth. Dad? Ash flaked from his face. His eyes went white. His body caved in, crumbling to dust before my eyes. Mom! I screamed, lunging toward her. What's happening? As soon as my hand brushed her arm, she disintegrated too, vanishing into gray smoke that drifted through my fingers. I collapsed, sobbing, staring at the piles of dust where they'd stood. Then the pain began, deep in my chest, searing, suffocating. I gagged, coughing until something hard forced its way up my throat. 3 rusted iron nails clattered onto the floor, slick with blood. I screamed, clutching my chest, the world spinning. The door creaked open. The woman, my supposed mother, stood there, framed by the rising dawn. Her red-robed followers fanned out behind her. Her smile had softened, almost loving. Your powers have awakened, my son, she murmured. You can no longer touch humans. They will turn to ash. I stumbled back. Stay away from me! You are one of us now, she said quietly. You were never meant for their world. I looked down at the ashes, my hands shaking uncontrollably. No, I whispered. I'm not like you. She took a step forward. Yes, you are. You were born from my offering to the Dark One. Your blood carries his mark. You belong to the night. The air thickened, humming with power. The walls trembled, lamps shattered. My veins pulsed black beneath my skin. Her voice became distant, echoing inside my skull. Come, my child. The world has no place for your kind, but we do. Let us teach you. I met her eyes, bottomless, glowing like embers, and for the first time I felt it. The hunger, the voice inside me that wasn't mine. It whispered she was right, that I was born from darkness, that I was meant to feed. Now I live with them, deep in the woods where the moon never feels warm. We pray in circles of flame. We offer the innocent to the fire. Each night I feel less human. Each night the Dark One speaks clearer. They call me Lior. It means the light that fell. Funny, right? My human parents called me Tyler. It means maker of bricks. But she says it means nothing in the language of the damned. I can drain a man's soul through his eyes now. I can turn flesh to ash with a touch. And yet sometimes when I see the moon's reflection on the lake, I remember that night. The laughter, the champagne, the smell of freedom. And for a heartbeat, I miss being human, just for a second. Then I remember what I am, and what I was born to do. The fire burns brighter when I speak his name, and the woods whisper it back. Orphitanus Avisus. The night belongs to me now. I never planned to celebrate my birthday on a damn cruise ship. Honestly, I didn't even plan to celebrate it at all that year. I just turned 27, barely paying rent, working double shifts at a diner in Wilmington, North Carolina. My mom kept calling, asking when I'd come visit. My best friend Ava kept pestering me to do something fun for once in your miserable life. I just kept saying, maybe next year. Then came him, Colin Hayes. I met Colin on Tinder late one Tuesday night after work. He wasn't like the usual guys. No gym selfies, no fishing pics, no mirror shots with truck decals behind him. One of his photos showed him in a crisp white uniform, the ocean stretching out behind him. His bio read, Captain for Atlantic Wave Cruises. Traveler, dog person, likes quiet dinners and loud thunderstorms. When we matched, I honestly thought it was a scam. I even messaged, yeah right, captain of what? He replied 2 minutes later, a canoe. Then, no, something a little bigger. We started talking. Then FaceTiming. Then meeting for coffee near the docks a few days later, and yeah, he really was a captain. Mid-30s, calm and self-assured in that way that makes you feel safe just standing next to him. He had that soft southern accent, wore aviators, always smelled faintly of salt water and cologne. The kind of man who'd open your car door and say, ma'am, without sounding like he was pretending. After a few weeks of casual dates, he told me he wanted to do something special for my birthday. How about we take the Azure Star out for a few days? He said, sipping his iced coffee, eyes sparkling. You mean like an actual cruise? I laughed. Yeah, I'll have a cabin set up just for you. We can sail down the coast. You deserve something nice, Lena. He said my name softly, like it meant something. I hesitated. I can't afford that, Colin. Don't worry about a thing, he said, leaning in with that easy smile. It's my ship. You're my guest. It sounded insane, but flattering. And for once I thought, why not? Maybe I could do something spontaneous, something beautiful for a change. The ship was docked at Cape Charleston Port. The Azure Star was enormous, gleaming white decks, gold-trimmed railings, the faint hum of music echoing from within. Passengers lined up with luggage, laughing, taking selfies. I felt completely out of place in my thrift store sundress and old sneakers. Colin met me near the boarding ramp, crisp in his uniform, exuding that same effortless confidence. Happy early birthday, sailor, he grinned, handing me a key card. Cabin 302. You really did this? I asked, half laughing. Told you, he said. I don't joke about the sea. When I scanned my card at the terminal, the attendant frowned. Miss, your name's not showing up on our list." Colin leaned over, flashing his ID. "She's with me, captain's guest." The woman nodded, apologetic. Still, something about not being on the list made my stomach twist. Colin was busy most of the afternoon handling crew business, so I explored the decks alone. The sunlight shimmered off the ocean, dazzling white. Kids splashed in the pool. Couples sipped cocktails under umbrellas. It should have been perfect, but something about the air felt heavy. Every now and then, I caught people glancing at me. Not the usual curious glances. These were quick, sharp, knowing. When evening came, Colin finally texted, "Meet me at my quarters at 9Q, got something special planned." I smiled, thinking maybe he'd arranged a surprise. Cake, maybe a few drinks. Something simple. Around 8:50, I made my way toward the officer's deck. The hallway leading to his quarters was oddly quiet. No chatter, no footsteps, just the low mechanical thrum of the ship's engines beneath my feet. That's when I saw them. Two women stood at the far end of the corridor. Their dresses were old-fashioned, one pale blue, one cream, flowing like something from a formal night 20 years ago. Their hair was wet, stringy, their skin unnaturally pale, and their eyes, God, their eyes, were full of something that wasn't just anger. It was grief. For a moment, I thought maybe they were drunk passengers. I blinked, and one of them was suddenly right in front of me. She grabbed my hair so violently I screamed. "Let go!" I yelled, stumbling backward. Her grip was ice cold, her eyes cloudy and lifeless. She dragged me several feet down the hallway before vanishing into thin air, like smoke caught in a draft. I ran. I didn't think, I just ran. By the time I reached the bridge, I was gasping, shaking so hard my teeth clattered. Colin was inside, alone, adjusting something on the radar. "Jesus, Lena," he said, eyes wide. "What happened?" There were women down there," I stammered. One of them grabbed me. "What women?" His voice dropped, cautious. I don't know. Maybe passengers, maybe thieves or something." But even as I said it, I knew she hadn't been alive. They tried to. I stopped myself. I wasn't about to say ghosts. Colin's expression shifted, his jaw tightening just slightly. Then he grabbed his radio. "Security to Corridor C near my quarters," he said, voice low and steady. "Check for 2 women, possibly trespassers." He turned back to me, his hand resting lightly on my shoulder. "You're safe now, okay? Nobody sneaks onto this ship, we'll check it out." Something about his voice calmed me, but underneath that calm, something in me whispered, "Run." When we reached his cabin, 2 guards were already there. They looked uneasy. "Nothing, Captain," one said. "Corridor's clear. No one matching that description." The hallway was silent, too clean, too still. Colin smirked, half a chuckle escaping his throat. "See? Probably just some drunk guests. Happens all the time." He unlocked his cabin door and gestured for me to enter. The room was spotless, crisp white linens, polished wood floors, a panoramic window framing the moonlit sea. But there were no decorations, no candles, no cake. "I thought you said you had something special planned," I said, forcing a laugh. "I do," he replied softly, walking toward the closet. "Just need to grab it." He turned his back, rummaging through a drawer. As I glanced around, something about the mirror above the dresser caught my attention. My reflection stood frozen, but there were 2 other figures behind me. It was them, the women from the hallway. Their faces were clearer now, waterlogged, scarred, their necks slashed open, their eyes hollow but focused. They weren't looking at me this time. They were pointing at Colin. "Colin," I whispered, voice trembling. "What's in your hand?" In the mirror I saw it first, the glint of metal, a knife, long, sharp, gleaming in the low cabin light. When he turned around, it was real. "You don't like surprises?" he asked, smiling too wide, too wrong. I froze. "Colin, what the hell are you doing?" "Relax, baby, you're overreacting." His tone softened mockingly. "Put the knife down," I said, stepping back. "You think I brought you here for champagne and cake?" He took a slow step forward, eyes darkening. His voice dropped to a low growl. "I like to celebrate differently." I bolted for the door, but it didn't move. Locked. "Stop!" I screamed, slamming my fists against it. "Someone help!" "No one can hear you here," he said calmly, almost kindly. "This deck's soundproofed for privacy." He lunged. I dodged, crashing into the dresser. Pain exploded through my shoulder. The knife slashed through empty air where my neck had been seconds before. He laughed quietly. "You move fast. I like that." Blood trickled down my temple where I'd hit the wood. My vision blurred, swimming. I tried to crawl backward as he crouched low, stalking me like prey. "Colin, please," I begged, voice cracking. "Why are you doing this?" His eyes burned. "Because I can't stop," he whispered. "Because they never left me alone after the first two." My stomach turned cold. What are you talking about?" He grinned wider, trembling with something like mania. "Maybe if I finish what I started, they'll finally leave." As he raised the knife, something impossible happened. I was thrown backward, hard. My body hit the door with a force so violent it burst open. Colin hadn't touched me. Something unseen had. I scrambled out into the hall, screaming, "Help! He's got a knife!" Colin charged after me, face twisted with fury. But before he could reach me, 2 security guards rounded the corner. "Captain Hayes," one shouted. "What the—" Colin swung the knife, wild and desperate, but the guards tackled him to the ground. He screamed, thrashing. "She's one of them," he shouted. "She's one of them." As they pinned him down, my legs gave out. The corridor tilted and went black. When I woke, I was in a hospital bed back on shore. My mother sat beside me, eyes red from crying. "Baby," she whispered, clutching my hand. "You're safe now." A detective came later, holding a folder thick with photos. "We've arrested Captain Colin Hayes," he said. "He's being charged with attempted murder and 2 prior homicides." My breath caught. "Prior?" He nodded grimly. 2 women passengers found dead in their cabins on previous cruises. Stab wounds. Same ship, same deck. He set the file on my lap. "Recognize them?" My fingers trembled as I flipped the photos over. My stomach twisted. The women staring up at me from those pictures, the ones with the pale faces and drowned eyes, were the same ones I'd seen that night. The ones who dragged me away, the ones who saved me. I celebrated my birthday 3 weeks later at home, surrounded by family and Ava. No fancy dresses, no champagne. Just laughter, pizza, and a grocery store cake. When I blew out the candles, I didn't make a wish. Because I realized something that night aboard the Azure Star. Sometimes the only thing standing between you and death isn't luck. It's mercy from those who've already suffered. Now, whenever I see the ocean, a chill runs through me. I imagine those women still out there watching over the waves, making sure no one else steps into that cursed cabin. And sometimes when the wind shifts just right, I swear I hear it, a soft whisper carried over the tide. "You're safe now, Lena. I'll never set foot on another cruise ship again, ever." I never thought turning 18 would almost get me killed. My name's Riley Ward, and that night, my birthday night, still sits inside me like a bruise that never fades. It throbs every time I pass a quiet house with a porch light flickering in the dark. I grew up in Crestwood, a small town just outside Bend, Oregon. The kind of place where everyone knows your name, gossip spreads like wildfire, and every house smells faintly of pine and old wood. My parents were proud, hard-working people. Dad owned a mechanic shop on Main Street, and Mom was a nurse who only ever stopped moving when exhaustion forced her to. For months, I'd been talking about throwing a big 18th birthday party, Nothing wild, just something worth remembering. Beer, music, friends. My parents were hesitant, but after weeks of pestering, they finally said yes with one rule: no party at home. So my best friend Landon helped me rent a small cabin-style Airbnb off the highway, surrounded by woods and a lonely gravel road. It looked perfect in the photos. Warm yellow lights, a porch swing, a fire pit glowing under string bulbs. When we got there that afternoon, the owner, a woman named Mara, handed me the keys. She was in her 40s, calm but with a distracted sort of energy. "Just make sure y'all don't go up to the attic," she said with a half smile, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "Why?" I asked, half joking. "Old storage. Floorboards are weak. Don't want anyone getting hurt," she said. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. I brushed it off. By 8 that night, people started showing up. Music blaring from a Bluetooth speaker. Red cups everywhere. The sharp scent of cheap beer and perfume thick in the air. Everyone from school came. It felt like one of those rare nights when everything actually goes right. "Riley, birthday boy," Landon shouted, slinging an arm around me. "Man, you're officially an adult. Time to make some bad decisions." "Yeah," I laughed, clinking my cup with his, starting with this terrible beer. Everyone cracked up. Someone turned the music louder. Someone else lit sparklers outside, and for a while it was perfect. Then I saw her. She stood near the staircase, alone, quiet, watching me. At first I figured she was one of Landon's friends. She had pale skin, dark hair falling over one eye, and a vintage red jacket that looked like it belonged to another decade. When our eyes met, she smiled faintly, then started walking toward me. "Hey," she said softly, her voice smooth, almost musical. "Happy birthday." "Thanks," I said, trying to place her face. "You're with Landon's group?" She shook her head. "No, I just heard about the party. That was weird. We hadn't invited randoms, but she didn't seem dangerous, just off somehow." "Well, glad you came. I'm Riley." "I know," she said, tilting her head a little. "You're turning 18 today." The way her eyes stayed on me made something in my chest tighten, not from attraction, but unease. Before I could say anything, Landon yelled from the kitchen, "Riley, dude, come take a shot with us." When I looked back, she was still staring. "Come on," I said, grinning to mask the tension. "You drinking or what?" She smiled, barely. "Maybe later." Her voice dropped lower. "There's something I want to show you upstairs." "Upstairs?" I repeated. The house was quieter up there, the music muffled beneath the floorboards. We passed a few closed doors, warm light seeping through the cracks. "What did you want to show me?" I asked. She stopped near a narrow hallway closet and pointed up at a thin pull cord dangling from the ceiling. "You hear that?" she whispered. I frowned. "Hear what?" "Something moving up there," she said. "In the attic." I laughed nervously. "You're kidding, right? There's no one up there." But then, I heard it too. A faint shuffle, like something dragging across the boards. "Could be rats," I said quickly. "Or, old pipes, or..." She grinned. "Come on," she teased, her lips curling into a daring grin. "Don't tell me the birthday boy's scared." Before I could stop her, she yanked the cord. A wooden ladder groaned as it unfolded from the ceiling, releasing a puff of dust that made us both cough. "Wait," I said, raising my hand. "The owner said not to." But she was already climbing, her shoes creaking on each step. The smell hit me first. Mildew, rot, old wood. The attic felt alive with stillness. Air thick with dust motes spinning in the flicker of a single bulb that buzzed weakly overhead. Boxes lined the walls, furniture draped in yellowed sheets. I climbed up after her, heart hammering louder than the music below. "Okay," I said with a nervous laugh, trying to sound casual. We saw the attic. "Can we go back down now?" She didn't answer. She stood completely still, her back to me, staring into the far corner. "Hey," I said, stepping closer. "You good?" When she turned, her face had gone blank, drained of expression, of life. My stomach dropped. That's when I saw movement behind her. A man stepped out of the shadows. Tall, emaciated. His skin looked like wax that had melted and hardened again, eyes nothing but dark hollows. He held a rusted knife in one trembling hand. "What the..." I started, but the girl lunged. Her hands clamped over my face, ice-cold, inhuman. As she hissed, the skin around her mouth split and peeled away, revealing jagged bone beneath. "Don't worry, Riley," she whispered, voice fractured, glitching through pitches that didn't sound human. "It'll be over soon." Everything went black. When I woke, my wrists and ankles burned. Rope bit into my skin. The air was damp, thick with the metallic stench of blood and something decaying. Across from me stood a tall mirror. In the reflection behind my slumped figure he stood, the hollow-eyed man, silent, watching. "What the hell are you?" I screamed, thrashing against the bindings. He tilted his head, bones cracking faintly. "Not yet," he rasped. His voice sounded like static bleeding through an old radio. The girl appeared beside him, her face still wrong, her eyes too wide. "We'll finish with him soon," she muttered. "Let's go downstairs." I watched them leave, their footsteps fading into the floorboards below. That's when everything came back, the party, the laughter, the attic. My friends. I yanked and twisted until the rope cut through my skin. The pain was blinding, but the cord finally snapped. My hand was slick with blood, but I didn't care, I had to get out. The hallway was empty. Music still drifted faintly from the speaker downstairs, warped and skipping. Red cups littered the floor, beer soaking into the rug. The air reeked of smoke, something burning. Then I heard it. Screams, voices I knew. Landon, others, from the stairwell. Their cries tore through the music. I staggered forward and saw them, the girl. Half her skin gone, and the man, his melted face glistening under the light. They were dragging Landon across the living room by his arm. "Stop!" I shouted before I could think. The girl's head snapped toward me, bones cracking in her neck. Her hollow eyes widened. "He's awake." I ran. Something heavy crashed into me from behind, slamming me into the floor. Pain exploded through my chest. I swung my elbow back blindly and felt it hit something soft. A sharp hiss echoed in the dark. I crawled, dragging myself toward the front door. My vision swam. My fingers found the handle. I kicked it open and stumbled into the freezing night air. The wind cut through my shirt, the trees whispering above like they were warning me to run faster. Behind me, faint laughter spilled from the cabin, high-pitched, wet, inhuman. I grabbed my phone with trembling hands. 911, I whispered. "Please help me." "There's people, my friends." The dispatcher's voice crackled. "Stay where you are, sir. Officers are on their way." By the time the police arrived, the house was silent. The music was gone. The lights flickered weakly through open windows. They found me on the porch, shaking, soaked in blood that wasn't mine. Inside, the place was wrecked. Furniture overturned, glass shattered, beer puddled on the floor. But no bodies, no girl, no man, nothing. They said I was drunk, shocked, hallucinating. "Too much partying," one of them muttered. They drove me home before dawn, said I was safe now. But it didn't feel safe. 2 nights later, driving back from a friend's, I saw headlights appear in my rearview mirror, a black sedan following close. I slowed. It slowed. I turned off onto a side road. It followed. "Not again," I whispered. When I pulled into my driveway, the sedan stopped at the end of the street. Idling, a shadow sat behind the wheel, unmoving, watching. Then, slowly, the car backed up, disappearing into the dark. I ran inside, locked the doors, turned on every light. "Riley, you okay?" Mom called from her room. "Yeah," I lied. "Just tired." But when I glanced out the window one last time, my blood turned to ice. Across the street, under the lamppost, she stood. The girl in the torn red jacket, skin pale as death. She raised one hand slowly, like a wave. Then she smiled and vanished. I don't go to parties anymore. I don't celebrate my birthday either. Because sometimes when the wind presses against the house just right, I hear faint laughter drifting from above, from the attic. And I know they're still looking for me. I never thought turning 18 would be the night everything I believed about my family would come undone. My name's Riley Morgan, and I grew up in a quiet corner of Burlington, Vermont. The kind of town where everyone knows everyone, where news travels faster than the wind off Lake Champlain. I wasn't the big party type, more of a few friends, board games, bad movie kind of girl. But my mom had other plans. She said she wanted my 18th to be the one you'll never forget. If only she knew how true that would turn out to be. The morning started out normal enough. Balloons tied to the porch railing, streamers taped crookedly along the ceiling, and my dad teasing that I'd finally have to start paying rent now. We'd rented an old event hall near the town square called Mapleview Lodge. It wasn't fancy, but it had that small town charm. Big windows, creaky pine floors, the faint smell of lemon polish and dust. A long corridor led to a restroom tucked in the back. My mom kept saying, "It'll be perfect for pictures." By 6 o'clock, the place was packed. Family, neighbors, classmates, all blurring together beneath colorful string lights. Music pulsed from the DJ booth, laughter mixing with the thump of bass. The air was thick with perfume, cake frosting, and the faint bite of beer. I stood near the main table, smiling and hugging people, my cheeks aching. The sound swelled until it was almost dizzying. That's when I saw him. At first, I thought I was seeing things. He stood near the double doors at the entrance, tall, thin, wearing a charcoal gray suit that looked 20 years out of style. His tie hung loose, his slicked back hair greasy under the lights. His eyes moved slowly, scanning every face until they found mine and stayed there. A cold rush went through me like someone had opened a freezer behind my back. He didn't move. Not at first. Just stared. I told myself he was probably one of Dad's co-workers or a neighbor's guest, but something about him felt wrong. His focus was too direct, too still. I leaned toward my best friend Tessa, who was busy taking selfies with her boyfriend. "Hey," I whispered, "do you know that guy by the door?" She frowned. "Which one?" "The one in the gray suit. But when I turned back, he was gone." I laughed under my breath, brushing it off as champagne nerves, but the unease stayed, buzzing under my skin. The music grew louder. People shouted birthday wishes, pulled me into photos and hugs. I tried to dance, to laugh, but every few minutes I felt it again, that prickling awareness of eyes on me. Around 9, I slipped away from the crowd, pretending to grab some air. Near the entrance, I saw him again, half-shadowed under the hallway light, watching. "Riley," my dad called, laughing with his coworkers. "Everything okay, kiddo?" "Yeah," I said quickly, forcing a smile. "Just hot in here." He raised his beer. "That's my girl. Go cool off, then come back for the toast." I nodded, but I wasn't heading to the bar or outside. I just needed quiet. Space. Somewhere I could breathe. I walked down the long corridor toward the bathrooms, the noise fading until it was replaced by the faint hum of a single flickering fluorescent. The air smelled of wood varnish and old pipes. I pushed open the women's restroom door, thankfully empty, and the sharp scent of bleach hit my nose. Locking myself in one of the stalls, I sat there, heart pounding, listening to my own uneven breathing. When I finally stepped out, I splashed cold water on my face and stared into the mirror. My reflection looked pale, washed out under the harsh light, eyes wide and tired. Then, movement behind me. I froze. He was there, standing by the door. The man in the gray suit. He was taller than I'd thought, easily over 6 feet. His eyes met mine in the mirror and his mouth stretched into something like a smile, except it bent wrong, like his face had forgotten how to do it. "Hey," he said softly. His voice was low, almost polite. "Happy birthday." My throat closed up. Who are you?" He stepped forward, the sound of his shoes squeaking against the tile. "You don't remember me, do you?" I think you're at the wrong..." "No." He shook his head, slow, deliberate. "I'm exactly where I need to be." My pulse hammered in my ears. "You should leave. My dad's right outside." He smiled wider. "Your dad?" "Yeah, I know him real well, actually." Something in his tone made my stomach twist. "What do you want?" I whispered. He tilted his head, eyes soft but hollow. Just you." I've waited so long for this moment. I stumbled a step backward, hands trembling. "Stay away from me." He didn't. He moved closer, careful, almost tender, like he didn't want to scare me, even though I already was. "I'm not going to hurt you," he murmured. "At least."
Not the way you think. Get out!
I screamed, but my voice barely carried beyond the tiled walls. The music from the hall swallowed the sound. Before I could move, his hand shot out and clamped around my wrist, tight, cold, desperate. "Let go," I cried, jerking against his grip. He leaned in close enough that I could smell his breath, metallic, sour like rust and old pennies. "Don't fight it, Riley," he whispered. "I just need to feel it," he whispered, his voice trembling, almost pleading. "Need to know what it's like." I yanked my arm as hard as I could, the bracelet my mom gave me snapping apart. Beads scattered across the floor, clinking like tiny marbles. His eyes flicked down, following the motion. That second of distraction was all I needed. I shoved him hard and bolted for the door, but he grabbed a handful of my hair. The yank was brutal. I hit the tile so hard my ribs screamed. The air rushed out of me in a gasp. He was on me in seconds, kneeling close, breath ragged, whispering against my ear. "You look so much like her," he murmured. "Your mom. You even smile like she used to. That's what makes this so damn hard." My stomach lurched. "What are you talking about?" He pressed one shaking hand to my throat. Not enough to choke, just enough to hold me still. His eyes glistened, wild and broken. "She took everything from me. But you..." His lips twitched into a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You're proof I existed. Proof I mattered." I clawed at his arm, my nails tearing skin. He hissed in pain and pressed harder. "Stop struggling," he said through his teeth. "I told you I'm not a monster. His voice cracked. "I just need to see you go still. Just once, please." The words didn't make sense. None of it did. But I could see it in his face. He wasn't there anymore. Whatever he used to be was gone. My hand fumbled across the counter until it hit cold metal. The soap dispenser. I grabbed it and swung with everything I had. The hollow crack echoed off the tile as it connected with his temple. He screamed, a raw, guttural sound, and toppled sideways. I scrambled to my knees, coughing, vision blurring with tears. The world tilted and spun. My hand slipped on the slick tile, but I crawled toward the door, dragging myself inch by inch. When I reached it, I twisted the handle and it flew open. My dad burst in, two of his friends right behind him. "Riley!" The man on the floor groaned, clutching his bleeding head. My dad froze. His face drained of color, shifting from fury to something else, shock, guilt. "What the hell?" he breathed. I looked up at him, voice shaking. "Dad, he tried to..." But my father wasn't looking at me. His eyes were locked on him. The man laughed weakly, blood running down his cheek. "Hey, old man," he rasped. "Long time, huh?" My dad's lips parted. "Oh my God." One of his friends stepped forward. "Who is this guy?" But Dad didn't answer. His voice came out as a whisper. "Riley. He's your brother." The room spun. The walls bent inward. "No," I croaked. "No, that's what..." The man, my supposed brother, laughed again, coughing through the blood. "She didn't tell you, huh?" "Typical." "Shut up," my dad shouted, stepping closer. "You weren't supposed to be here." Then he looked at me. His voice cracked. "Your mother and I, years ago, before we married, He didn't have to finish. The truth shattered between us like glass. "You lied to me," I whispered, backing away. "All this time." My mom rushed in, makeup streaked, eyes wide. "Oh God, Riley." But I couldn't look at her. Couldn't look at anyone. The rest blurred. Sirens, police, paramedics. Questions I barely answered. They said he'd be charged with assault. Maybe attempted murder. None of it mattered. I just wanted to go home. That night at the hospital, my mom tried to sit beside me. I turned my face toward the wall. "Riley," she said softly, voice breaking. "We thought keeping it from you would protect you. We didn't want you growing up with that shame." "Shame?" My voice was hoarse. "You mean him?" Tears filled her eyes. "He wasn't always like this. He used to be..." "Stop." I couldn't bear another word. Outside, the horizon was paling, birds starting to sing like nothing had happened. I stared at the IV drip, at the slow rhythm of the heart monitor, and realized nothing in my life would ever be normal again. Every birthday since, I skipped the parties. No candles, no music, no cake. Just me. The silence and that echo that never leaves. Because somewhere out there, whether in a cell, a hospital, or buried deep in memory, I still have a brother. And sometimes, in the quiet before dawn, I swear I can still hear him whisper, his voice slipping through the dark. "You look so much like her." I still remember my little sister's 5th birthday like it happened yesterday, and not for a happy reason. I was 11, old enough to think I was way too cool for anything involving tiaras and sparkly teacups. My mom, Rebecca, had booked this fancy little place called Rosie's Tea Garden, just outside of town. It was one of those over-the-top princess experience venues for little girls. Pink walls, lace curtains, crown-shaped cookies, and grown women dressed like off-brand Disney princesses, singing slightly off-key songs about friendship and glitter. My sister Chloe was the star of the day. She'd been talking about it for months, how she was going to wear her yellow bell dress and be treated like royalty. Me, I wanted no part of it. I sat slouched on a chair in the hallway near the entrance, my DS balanced on my knees, lost in Pokemon Diamond. My mom was somewhere in the back talking to the event planner, and Chloe was squealing as one of the princesses sprinkled fairy dust over her curls. That's when I heard a woman's voice. "Hey there. You're Rebecca's kid, right?" I looked up. She was standing a few feet away, mid-40s maybe, brown hair tied in a low bun, a pale yellow cardigan, a big warm smile. She looked like someone's Sunday school teacher. Yeah, I said, pausing my game. Thought so. Her smile grew wider. "You probably don't remember me. I'm your Aunt Linda. Haven't seen you since you were, gosh, maybe 4 years old." That didn't sound totally impossible. My family's huge, and there are cousins and aunts from marriages I barely know. People are always showing up at reunions acting like I'm supposed to recognize them, so I went along with it. "Oh yeah, maybe," I said casually. Linda laughed softly. "You've gotten so tall. Your mom always said you were going to shoot up like your dad." I nodded, polite but distracted. She leaned a bit closer. "How's school? You still liking it?" "It's fine," I said. "I'm in 6th grade now." "6th grade, huh? Wow, you must be doing great." I shrugged. "I guess." She smiled again, that warm Sunday school teacher smile. "That's wonderful. Hey, listen. I brought Chloe a big dollhouse for her birthday. It's out in my car. I was hoping you could help me carry it in." "It's a little heavy." Something in my stomach tightened, not quite fear, just that weird instinctive twinge. Still, nothing seemed wrong. She sounded normal. She looked normal. Then she added, "I also brought another cake, chocolate fudge, Chloe's favorite. If you help me, you can have the first slice before everyone else." That actually sounded nice, but something about it still nagged at me. My dad had drilled it into me a million times. Don't go with strangers, even the nice ones. But in my head, this woman wasn't a stranger. She knew my mom's name, Rebecca. She knew my sister's birthday theme. Even the gift, I hesitated. "Where's your car?" "Right outside, hun," she said gently. "Just through the back door. It's closer than the parking lot." The back door part bothered me. I'd seen the parking lot, it was right out front. "Why didn't you just bring it through there?" I asked. She smiled again, but this time the smile didn't reach her eyes. "Oh," she said lightly. "There's too many people at the entrance." "I didn't want to bump into anyone with the dollhouse," she said, still smiling. But something in her tone shifted, just slightly, quicker, sharper, like the friendliness had a time limit. I was trying to think of what to say when she stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Come on, sweetheart. Let's hurry before the frosting melts on that cake." I stood up slowly, my DS slipping into my pocket. "I can tell my mom to help you," I said, nodding toward the back. "She's right. Oh no. No need to bother her." She cut me off, still smiling, but her voice tightened, thin and strained like a piano wire about to snap. "She's busy, isn't she? You're a big boy. You can help." That's when the uneasy flutter in my chest turned to full-blown fear. I didn't know why, but my eyes drifted toward the back door. She followed my gaze, and that's when I saw it. Through the small window pane, a car was idling just outside, engine running. There was a man in the driver's seat, his face dim behind the glass, staring straight at us. Linda noticed me noticing. Her smile faltered for the first time, but only for a second before she forced it back on. "That's your Uncle Ray, remember him?" She said too quickly. "He helped your dad fix the garage door once." I didn't answer. My throat was tight. My pulse hammered in my ears. "If you could just grab the box," he began, reaching for my sleeve. "Don't touch me," I snapped, jerking my arm back. Her eyes hardened instantly. The warm, motherly tone evaporated. "Hey," she said, her voice low now, almost scolding. "Don't be rude. I'm trying to do something nice." "Then go get my mom," I said, my voice shaking. She took a small step closer, her hand tightening around her purse strap. "Stop being difficult, okay? Just get away from me," I shouted louder than I meant to. Her jaw clenched. For a heartbeat, I thought she was going to grab me again. But then, from inside the tea room, my mom's voice rang out, sharp and panicked. "Eli! Eli, where are you?" Linda froze mid-step. From the other hallway, Aunt Teresa appeared, eyes darting. "Eli, there you are. We've been looking all over for you." I swear I've never seen anyone's face change so fast. Linda's smile vanished completely. Her whole expression collapsed into something cold and empty. She spun toward the door, yanked it open, and yelled over her shoulder, "Go!" The car peeled out of the lot before I could even blink. My mom was suddenly there, kneeling in front of me, grabbing my shoulders. "Eli, are you okay?" What happened? Who was that? I was shaking so badly my DS nearly slipped from my pocket. She said she was Aunt Linda," I stammered. "She said she had a dollhouse and cake. Teresa turned to one of the workers, her voice trembling. "Lock the doors. Right now." They did. The entire tea room went into what I later learned was basically a lockdown. They herded all the kids into one of the back party rooms and started counting heads. Chloe was crying, clutching her little tiara, her cheeks streaked with glitter and tears. My mom wouldn't let go of me. She just kept whispering over and over, "You're okay. You're okay." Like she was trying to convince herself. The cops showed up maybe 20 minutes later. 2 officers took me aside to get my statement. I told them everything. What she looked like, the car, the man, her voice, every detail I could remember. One of them, a tall guy with gray hair named Officer Haynes, nodded as he wrote in his notepad. "You did the right thing, son," he said. "You trusted your gut. That probably saved your life today." My mom asked if they could track the car from the security cameras outside, but apparently, the cameras at Rosie's Tea Garden were just for show. They didn't record a thing. The police promised they'd follow up. They never did. Weeks passed. Then months. No updates. No arrests. Mom changed the locks on our house. She stopped letting us out of her sight at public events. She even started using fake names whenever. She booked anything for Chloe, and I still think about that woman sometimes, and the way she said my mom's name, Rebecca, like she'd known her forever. The way she smiled, like she'd practiced it in a mirror. The way that man was already waiting in the running car, ready to drive off. How did she know my mom's name? My sister's birthday theme? It's been over 10 years now and I still don't have answers. Sometimes, when I'm in a crowd and someone says my name, I freeze before turning around, just in case it's her. Just in case she came back to try again. I always thought birthdays were supposed to be loud, messy, and filled with people you actually wanted around. Mine always were, until last year. The night that made me realize some family stories aren't just tales told to spook kids. I turned 19 that New Year's Eve. Yeah, I was one of those December 31st babies. My dad always joked that I came into the world trying to steal the New Year's spotlight. Every year my parents merged both celebrations into one long night of food, noise, and champagne. But this time it wasn't at our house. My Aunt Sandra had gone abroad for a year, some medical contract in the Philippines, and she'd offered us her countryside home in Ash Grove, Oregon. The place was massive, long hallways that seemed to breathe. High ceilings and dark wooden floors that creaked even when no one was walking. She had a caretaker, a quiet man named Mr. Harlan, who my mom said was a little off but harmless. When we arrived that afternoon, I remember the house being colder inside than it was outside, even with the heaters on full blast. Guess Aunt Sandra forgot to pay the ghost for heating, Lily joked, dragging her suitcase across the floor. "Don't start that again," my mom said, rolling her eyes. "There are no ghosts here, just bad insulation." But Lily wasn't joking. Not really. My cousins had told me a dozen times the house was haunted, that Sandra once woke up to the sound of someone brushing their hair in the guest bathroom, that she'd find the sink full of black strands every morning, even though she lived alone. I laughed it off, like always. I wasn't one for ghost stories. Honestly, I was more worried about whether my friends from town could make it through the snow before midnight. By 6, the whole family had arrived. The air smelled like roast chicken and cinnamon cider. Champagne popped for the adults, and my dad pretended not to notice the cheap beer Lily and I sneaked. The living room glowed with that warm, amber, New Year's light, music from someone's phone speaker, my little cousin Jake racing around with glow sticks shouting, "Happy birthday, Eli." I smiled and played along, but something felt off. The laughter felt slightly out of sync, the air a little too still for a house so full of people. By 10, my friends still hadn't shown. Outside, the snow had begun to fall, soft, slow, smothering sound itself. "Guess it's just family this time," my dad said, clapping my shoulder. "Come on, son, one last party before adulthood ruins the fun." He poured me a drink, half cider, half champagne, and everyone gathered around the TV for the countdown. 2 p.m. The room was chaos, laughing, shouting, glasses clinking. My uncle, already drunk, tried to dance with the dog. I stood by the big window watching the snow glow under the porch light. Lily came up beside me. "You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." I snorted. "Not yet. Maybe later." She smirked. "You ever been down the East Hall, where the guest bathroom is?" "No, why?" She shrugged. "That's where Sandra said she heard the hairbrushing sounds. You know, the one with the old mirror." "Cool," I said. "I'll pee outside then." We both laughed, but her tone left a small, uneasy weight in my chest. PM. "All right, everyone ready?" my mom shouted. 10. The countdown began. The room vibrated with energy. 9, 8, 7.
6, 5, I laughed, spinning my drink, a fizz of warmth in my stomach.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. The room erupted. Cheers, confetti, champagne bursting. My uncle banged pots together like a maniac. I laughed, dizzy from the sound and lights, until I realized I really needed to pee. Slipping away unnoticed, I headed down the hall. The east corridor swallowed the noise behind me until it sounded like laughter coming from underwater. The air was colder here, heavier. I flipped the bathroom light switch. Nothing. Tried again. Still nothing. "Come on," I muttered, slapping the wall. "Don't do this to me now." On the third try, the light flickered to life, dim, yellow, and buzzing like a dying bee trapped in glass. The door in front of me was old and heavy, painted that dull off-white every old house seems to love. The brass knob was cold under my hand. I pushed it open slowly. The smell hit me first, musty, layered with something faintly sweet, like old perfume that had lingered too long in the air. And then I saw her. A woman stood by the sink, her back turned toward me. Her hair was black. Not brown, not dark, but black like ink dissolving in water. It fell nearly to her waist. She wore a long, loose white dress that seemed to hum under the dying light, its fabric almost glowing. Her skin looked wrong, pale, waxy, as if it would melt if I touched it. I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard it hurt. Hey ma'am," I managed to say, my voice cracking. She didn't move. I think you've got the wrong house," I added, forcing a shaky laugh. Still nothing. I blinked once, twice. She was still there. I rubbed my eyes, hoping it was some reflection trick, some optical illusion, but her outline stayed perfectly still. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, her head began to turn. Not her body, just her head. Her neck twisted, slightly until I saw her cheek, then her chin, and then one pale, glassy eye staring straight at me. My knees almost buckled. I slammed the door and bolted down the hallway. "Whoa, dude, you okay?" Jake called as I stumbled back into the living room. Everyone was still laughing, clinking glasses, shouting over the TV. Nobody noticed the way my hands were shaking. I dropped onto the couch, gasping for breath. My mom looked up from her drink. "You good? You look sick." "Yeah," I said, swallowing hard. "The bathroom light freaked me out. Old wiring, I guess." My dad chuckled. "You're fine. Old houses do that." But I wasn't fine. A few minutes later, Lily let out a sharp shriek. "Guys, look at this!" She was holding my phone. I'd left it charging on the table earlier. "What's wrong?" Mom asked. Lily's voice trembled. "Eli, these are your photos, right?" I took the phone from her, and my stomach dropped. They were the selfies she'd taken with me earlier that night, us goofing off, making faces. But in the corner of almost every single picture just behind us, she was there, the woman in white. In the first photo, she stood near the hall. In the next, she was closer, by the doorway. In the last one, she was standing right behind me. "Holy hell," I whispered. My uncle leaned in, squinting. "That's a reflection. A trick of the light, maybe." "There's no mirror behind us," I said quietly. "That wall's solid." The laughter died. The room went still. Lily deleted the photos almost immediately, whispering something under her breath. Every sound. In that house, the ticking clock, the creaking floorboards felt too loud, too alive. My skin crawled. I wanted to leave, but Mom put a hand on my arm. "Don't freak yourself out," she said gently. "You've been drinking. You probably saw your own shadow." I didn't argue. I just sat there, gripping the edge of the couch, staring at the dark hallway where the light had flickered. Later, after everyone had gone to bed, I couldn't sleep. My brain kept replaying it, the way her head turned, the color of her skin, that faint perfume that still clung to my clothes. I told myself I had to check. The hallway was colder now, silent except for the wind brushing against the windows. I pushed the bathroom door open again. The bulb flickered weakly overhead. The air felt damp, like the room had been breathing. Then I saw it. The mirror above the sink was fogged over, as if someone had just exhaled against it. And across the glass written with a fingertip were 3 words, "Don't lock it." My heart lurched. I stumbled backward, nearly tripping over the rug, the words burning into my head. Behind me, the door gave a long, slow creak, like someone pushing it open from the other side. I didn't wait to see who. I ran, slammed my bedroom door, stayed awake until the light bled through the curtains. When morning came, my parents told me the caretaker, Mr. Harlan, had gone missing. His room at the back of the property was empty, the bed unmade. The only thing he'd left behind was a hairbrush sitting on the dresser, its bristles tangled with long black strands of hair. That was the last time any of us stayed there. I don't celebrate my birthday anymore, and every time I hear someone brushing their hair at night, I freeze, because I can still smell that perfume. Faint, sweet, and wrong. I never made a big deal about my birthday. Never had. Even as a kid, I was the one cutting my cake quietly in the kitchen, while my cousins tore through the living room like wild animals. I didn't like the attention, the off-key singing, or the fake cheer that came with it. My mom used to say I was born old, and maybe she was right. By 19, that habit had stuck. I didn't want a night out or a crowd chanting my name. I didn't even want to post one of those birthday selfie stories everyone else did. I just wanted my mom's lasagna and a quiet dinner with my family. Of course, my friends had other plans. Around 8 that night, I was sitting on my bed scrolling through my phone when Ryan, my best friend since middle school, texted, "Ryan, yo, man, we're not letting your boring ass waste your birthday again. Get dressed." I laughed under my breath and typed back, "Me, already did dinner. I'm good, let's just chill tomorrow." A few seconds later, my phone lit up with a FaceTime call. Ryan's face filled the screen. Curly hair spilling from under a beanie, that goofy grin he wore like a permanent accessory. "Tomorrow?" he scoffed. "Nah bro, tonight we're taking the Jeep out to Ridge Pine." I frowned. "Ridge Pine? Dude, that place is closed off at night." He shrugged, eyes flicking towards someone beside him. "Technically, yeah, but no one patrols that trail after dark. It's chill, just a couple miles of dirt and trees."
"You'll love it."
"It's your birthday, man, come on." I hesitated. I knew Ridge Pine State Park, 30 minutes out of town, thick with woods, picnic spots, and hiking trails. But once the sun set, it went dead quiet. Not even the rangers stuck around past 8. My phone buzzed again, 2 new texts. Tyler, you're coming, bro. Don't be a buzzkill. Liam, we got the drinks. Don't make us waste gas. That last one made me laugh. I sighed, tossed my phone onto the bed and muttered, all right, fine. Just for a bit. By the time they pulled up, the sky had dipped into that dark orange hour where the world feels like it's holding its breath. Ryan's black Jeep was already coated in dust from earlier rides. When I climbed in, the air hit me. Cheap cologne, fast food, and energy drinks. Birthday boy, Tyler yelled from the passenger seat, half out the window with a red plastic cup raised high. We pre-gamed a little. You started without me, I said, laughing. Just a warm-up, Liam called from the back seat, holding up a half-empty bottle of vodka. You're the guest of honor. Ryan grinned and tapped the wheel. Seatbelt on. Let's make it memorable. As we drove, the roads thinned out, the streetlights fading behind us until there was nothing but tree silhouettes and fireflies pulsing in the dark. By the time we reached the park entrance, orange cones blocked the road. See? Ryan said, hopping out. He moved one aside with a casual kick and got back in. Easy. Until a ranger catches us, I muttered. He just laughed. It's your birthday. Live a little. The one-lane road into Ridge Pine wound like a black ribbon through the woods. The Jeep's high beams cut through mist and branches that reached too close, brushing against the windows. The deeper we went, the more the forest seemed to swallow the light. Every tree melted into the next until it all became one endless breathing shadow. A sign flashed by in the headlights. Trail 14, Ridge Path Loop. That's the one, Ryan said. Perfect for off-roading. The dirt trail was narrow, barely wide enough for the Jeep. Rocks jutted up like bones from the ground. Each bump made Tyler whoop like a maniac. Bro, this is insane, he shouted over the music. You sure we won't get stuck? I've done this before, Ryan said, gripping the wheel tighter. Relax. Yeah, Liam added, laughing. And last time you popped a tire. Ryan flipped him off without looking. That was one time. By then, the air inside was thick with smoke. Tyler had rolled one and passed it around. I didn't smoke much, but I took a few hits. The windows fogged slightly, and through the faint hum of bass and laughter, the smell of pine and damp earth drifted in through the vents. For a while, it was fun. Loud music, bad singing, and the thrill of being where we weren't supposed to be. But gradually, the laughter faded. Somewhere between songs and potholes, I noticed Ryan slowing down. What's up? I asked. He didn't answer right away. His eyes darted toward the dark outside the windshield. Then, barely above the engine's hum, he said, "Did you guys hear that?" The music cut off. The silence that filled the Jeep felt too heavy, like the woods were leaning closer to listen. Everyone went quiet. It was faint but sharp, a sound that didn't belong to the night. A scream, high-pitched and distant, cutting through the trees. Definitely human. Probably an animal, Tyler said, forcing a shaky laugh. Sounded like a woman, Liam muttered. We waited, no one breathing. The Jeep idled softly, headlights humming, and the only sound was the whisper of wind brushing through the leaves. Then it came again, a shriek, longer this time, echoing ahead through the woods. Ryan angled the headlights forward. The beam sliced through the dark, revealing nothing but fog, bark, and dirt. I don't like this, I said quietly. Maybe it's a fox, Tyler said, laughing nervously. They scream like that sometimes. Ryan nodded, but his jaw was tight. Yeah, probably. Still, his knuckles stayed white on the steering wheel. We sat there for a while, pretending it was fine. Then Ryan parked the Jeep in a wider clearing off the trail. The music came back on, lower this time, just bass murmuring under our voices. Tyler poured vodka into the cups, and Liam launched into some long rant about his ex, full of curses and eye rolls. We laughed, half-hearted, but grateful for the noise. For a few minutes, it almost felt normal again. Then I said, "Gotta take a leak," and pushed open the door. The air outside hit cold and heavy, thick with pine and damp earth. I walked a few feet into the trees, found a spot, unzipped, and froze halfway through. Crunch. A footstep. I wasn't imagining it. Someone had stepped on a branch nearby. I turned, squinting through the dark. "Hello?" I called softly. Nothing. Then, crunch. Closer this time. "Guys?" I shouted, backing toward the Jeep. The engine roared to life, headlights flooding through the trees. Ryan's voice cut through the noise. "Get in, dude." I ran, heart pounding, and slammed the door behind me. "What happened?" Tyler asked, eyes wide. "I heard footsteps," I gasped. "Like someone walking toward me." Ryan turned on the brights, aiming straight ahead, and that's when we saw her. A woman stood about 10 feet in front of the Jeep, right at the edge of the trail. She wore a gray hoodie, the hood pulled low over her face. She wasn't moving. Ryan rolled his window down halfway. You okay?" he called out. No answer. She just stood there. Then slowly, too slowly, she stepped backward into the trees until the shadow swallowed her. "What the hell was that?" Liam whispered. "I don't know," Ryan muttered. "But we're leaving." He shifted into reverse. "Wait," Tyler said suddenly, voice cracking. "Look." We all turned. My stomach dropped. There were more of them, at least 4 figures, all in hoodies, standing just inside the tree line, one on each side of the trail, still watching. "Jesus Christ," Ryan whispered. "Dude, drive." "Now," Liam said, his voice breaking. Ryan hesitated for a fraction of a second. Too long. Something slammed against the back of the Jeep. A deep, heavy thud. Tyler screamed and twisted around. Through the red glow of the taillights, a man stood inches from the rear window, staring straight in. His face was blank, drained of color, his eyes catching the light, glowing almost animal-like. "Go!" I shouted. Ryan hit the gas. The Jeep tore forward, bouncing hard over roots and rocks. Branches whipped against the window, snapping in the wind. My head slammed the headrest. Nobody spoke, just our ragged breathing and the engine's roar. We didn't see them again, but somewhere behind us, faint and stretched through the trees, I swore I heard it. Laughter. When the dirt finally gave way to pavement, we all exhaled at once. Ryan didn't stop until we hit the main road, headlights catching the faint glow of a gas station in the distance. Only then did he pull over. His hands were shaking on the wheel. "Bro," Tyler said quietly. "What the hell was that?" Liam looked pale, staring out the window like the trees might follow us. "They weren't normal," he whispered. "You saw their faces?" I didn't answer. My thoughts were spinning. The woman's slow retreat, the stillness of the others, the red light in that man's eyes. Ryan swallowed hard. "We're never going back there, ever." Nobody argued. We never told anyone. Not our parents, not our friends. We deleted every photo, every video we'd taken earlier that night. It felt wrong to keep them. A week later, Ryan sent a link to our group chat. A local news article. Unidentified woman found near Ridge Pine Trails. Ongoing investigation. The attached photo was grainy, but I knew that hoodie, the same light gray one I'd seen 10 feet in front of the Jeep. The article said she'd been missing for over a week. They never found who or what was responsible. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still see that man's face lit red through the glass. And every year since, when my birthday rolls around, I stay home. No drinks, no friends, no trails, just me, alone. Because some celebrations aren't meant to happen in the dark. I never thought my 21st birthday would become something that still wakes me up shaking at night. I'd been counting down to that day for years. Not for the drinking or any wild party, but because it felt like a checkpoint. A doorway between being a clueless kid and becoming someone whose life was finally taking shape. My Uncle Travis lived down in Clearwater, Florida, in one of those postcard perfect houses that sat right on the water. Big backyard, pool that shimmered under tiki lights, a full bar, even a dock with string lights draped across it like a wedding setup. When he said, "You can use the house for your birthday, just don't wreck the place," I actually laughed out loud. It felt like winning the lottery. I'd just finished my second year of college and was back home, crammed into a tiny apartment with 2 roommates and 0 privacy. Travis's place felt like a dream escape. I started planning weeks ahead. Nothing crazy, just a few close friends, some music, some beer. You know how that goes, though. I invited maybe 15 people. Each of them invited 2 or 3 more. By 9 o'clock, the backyard looked like a college tailgate gone feral. Music pounded through the outdoor speakers. Bass so heavy you could feel it in your ribs. People were in the pool. Beer pong tables covered the patio. Couples made out under the string lights. I was already a little buzzed, laughing too loud, not caring that things were getting out of hand. "Bro, this place is sick," my friend Tyler shouted over the music. He had 2 Coors Lights clenched in one hand, foam spilling over his fingers. "Yeah, just try not to drown anyone, all right?" I yelled back, grinning. That became my mantra of the night. "Stay outside. House is off limits unless you're using the bathroom." I must have repeated it 100 times. Still, people slipped inside, some to pee, others pretending to. I caught one couple tangled up in the downstairs guest room, and that alone made my stomach twist. By 11:30, I was trying to rein things in, but it was like the party had grown its own pulse. I kept spotting faces I didn't know, guys in beanies and dark hoodies lingering near the fence, whispering to each other. Every time I looked their way, they turned their heads. Around midnight, the inevitable happened. Red and blue lights washed across the pool like a warped disco. "Party's over," one of the cops yelled as they came through the side gate. "Let's go, everyone out." It took almost 20 minutes to clear the place. When the last group stumbled off down the street, beer cans floated lazily in the pool, catching the colored light. My chest tightened. Travis was going to kill me. Soon it was just the core crew left, Tyler, my buddy Chris, and 2 girls from school. We sat around the pool talking quietly. The music long gone, the night suddenly too still. One by one they drifted off until only Tyler remained, drunk and glassy-eyed. "Dude, just crash on the couch," I told him. He mumbled something, half asleep. "Your uncle said no sleepovers, right?" "Yeah," I sighed, "but one guy won't hurt." He nodded, or maybe just swayed, and I helped him inside. He hit the couch and was out before I even found the light switch. I did a quick sweep of the place, locked both backyard gates, checked the back door, turned off the kitchen lights. When I came back, Tyler was already snoring, deep and ugly. For a moment, I just stood there in the dark living room looking at the chaos. Empty bottles, wet footprints on the tile, confetti drifting in the pool outside. I told myself I'd deal with it all in the morning. Upstairs, I brushed my teeth with my finger, too tired to care, and collapsed on the guest bed. I don't know how long I was out before my stomach twisted. Maybe an hour. I bolted upright, dizzy and clammy, stumbled into the bathroom and threw up until my throat burned. It was one of those burning, nauseating hangovers that hit too soon, like my body was punishing me before I even had the chance to regret anything. I splashed water on my face and gripped the edge of the sink, head pounding, stomach tight, trying to breathe through it. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Not above me, below, downstairs, near the foyer. Slow, steady, deliberate. At first, I told myself it was Tyler getting up for water, but then I remembered how wasted he'd been. He could barely stand, let alone walk. I stepped out into the upstairs hallway, the floor cold under my feet, and leaned over the railing that overlooked the foyer. The house was mostly dark, lit only by the soft blue shimmer from the pool through the glass doors. "Tyler?" I called out, my voice low and shaky. The footsteps stopped. Whoever was down there froze mid-step, right in the center of the foyer. I squinted, trying to focus through the dim light. There was a figure, a man maybe, standing completely still, head tilted up toward me. I couldn't make out a face, just a dark silhouette. Then, from the living room, I heard a soft, rhythmic snore. Tyler. He was still asleep. A chill ran through me, so sharp it almost made me dizzy. "Who's there?" I called, louder this time. No answer. A floorboard creaked near the kitchen, then another. Whoever it was moved, slowly, deliberately, out of sight. I backed away from the railing, my heart hammering so hard it hurt. My brain went blank. Run, hide? Lock myself in the room? I didn't want to leave Tyler down there, but some instinct screamed that I wouldn't help anyone if I got caught. I grabbed my phone, hands slick with sweat, and called Tyler's number. Praying the sound would wake him, he answered. "Tyler," I whispered. Relief breaking through my fear. Nothing, just breathing, slow, heavy. My blood ran cold. I hung up so fast my thumb slipped on the screen. My hands were shaking uncontrollably as I dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? The operator's voice was calm, practiced. I whispered, "There's someone inside my uncle's house. I think they broke in. My friend's downstairs, he's passed out. I'm upstairs." "Okay," she said. "Stay on the line with me. Can you lock the door to the room you're in?" "Yes," I breathed, backing into the guest room and sliding the lock shut as quietly as I could. Do not announce that you've called the police, she said firmly. Just stay quiet. Officers are on the way. What's your address? I gave it to her, voice trembling. Then, knock. A soft tap on the door. Light. Almost polite. I froze. Are they at your door? She whispered. Yes, I mouthed, barely breathing. Stay quiet, she said. Do not respond. The doorknob turned slowly, a metallic click that made my skin crawl. Then it stopped, silence, then breathing. On the other side, my whole body shook. I could feel tears pressing behind my eyes, but I didn't dare make a sound. Help is close, the operator whispered. They're almost there. It felt like hours, but it must have been only minutes before I heard movement downstairs. Boots on tile, voices shouting. Clear, clear. The front door creaked open fully, and a rush of footsteps filled the house. You can go downstairs now, the operator said softly. Officers are inside. I cracked the door open. Up here, I called. 2 officers met me on the stairs, flashlights cutting through the dark. They found the back door wide open, the curtains fluttering with the night breeze. Tyler was still on the couch, dead asleep, drool running down his chin. They searched every room. Nothing. Whoever had been there was gone. One of the cops asked if anything was missing, but I had no idea. It wasn't my house. I just kept nodding, numb, thanking them while they promised to leave a patrol car nearby until morning. When I finally went back upstairs, I couldn't even think about sleep. Every creak, every gust of wind made my pulse jump. I sat by the window until dawn broke over the water, pale and empty. 2 days later, my uncle came home early. I told him about the party, not the break-in. Just said things got a little wild. He sighed, didn't look surprised. A week later, he called me. Hey, he said, you didn't happen to see my Cartier watch, did you? The one I keep in the kitchen drawer? My stomach dropped. It was gone. That was the moment I told him everything. The party, the strangers, the footsteps, the knock. He didn't yell, didn't threaten to make me pay. He just said in the calmest voice I'd ever heard, "You'll never use my house again." And he meant it, but that's not what still keeps me awake. What haunts me is the sound of that breathing on the other side of the door, that soft, almost courteous knock, and the cold, gut-deep certainty that whoever stood there wasn't just looking to steal, they were waiting. I still remember that day like it happened yesterday, November 28th, 2009, the day that changed everything for me. Back then, I was a single mom trying to raise my little girl, Lily. She'd just turned 7 that year, and for weeks she wouldn't stop talking about this limited edition doll, Daniela's Dream Edition. Every girl in town wanted one. It was the kind of doll that sang, blinked, and came with its own tiny wardrobe and diary. It wasn't cheap. But for me, it wasn't just about the money, it was about keeping a promise. Lily had worked so hard that school year. A week before, her teacher, Mrs. Taylor, had called me and said, "Your daughter aced every single test. You must be so proud." And I was. God, I was. So I told her, "If you keep it up, baby, Mommy's gonna get you that doll for your birthday." She'd smiled so wide that day, wrapping her little arms around me like I'd just handed her the moon. I had no idea what that promise would end up costing me. The morning of November 28th was pure chaos. I'd already been to 6 stores by noon, all sold out. Every parent I passed had that same desperate look, some even laughing about it like it was part of the holiday madness. But I wasn't laughing. Lily's birthday was the next morning, and there was no way I could show up empty-handed. Around 2 p.m., I stopped at a small diner just to catch my breath and grab a coffee. The waitress, an older woman named Donna, noticed the panic written all over my face. "You all right, honey? You look like you've been running a marathon," she said, sliding a mug toward me. I laughed weakly, feeling the exhaustion catch up to me. I've been to almost every store in town looking for that stupid Daniela doll. It's for my daughter's birthday tomorrow. They're all sold out. Donna smiled kindly, shaking her head. "Oh, those things are like gold this year. My granddaughter's been begging for one too. You might want to try North Hill Mall. My cousin works there. Says they just got a new shipment in the back." "North Hill Mall?" I repeated. "That's like 40 minutes out of town." She shrugged, still smiling. "If it's for your kid, it's worth it." I thanked her, tossed some bills on the counter, and rushed back out. By the time I reached North Hill Mall, the sky had turned a heavy gray. The kind of winter cold that crawls under your coat and settles in your bones. I parked in the back lot and hurried inside. The toy store was chaos, parents arguing, kids whining, shelves half emptied. I scanned every aisle, heart hammering, the smell of plastic and stale air thick around me. There were dolls everywhere, but not the doll. "Excuse me," I asked one of the clerks, a bored-looking teenager with a name tag that read Sam. "Do you have any Daniela's Dream Edition dolls left?" He gave me a sympathetic look. "Lady, those sold out 2 weeks ago. You might find a knockoff at one of the discount stores down the highway." "Figures," I muttered under my breath, rubbing my temples. That's when I noticed him, someone standing near the end of the aisle, watching me. Tall, thin, wearing a brown jacket and a baseball cap pulled low. He looked maybe mid-30s. When our eyes met, he gave a polite smile. "You looking for that Daniela doll, ma'am?" he asked. I froze for a beat. "Yeah, how'd you know?" He chuckled. "You've walked up and down this aisle 3 times now. Figured you weren't just browsing." I gave a nervous laugh. "Yeah, I've been all over town. My daughter's birthday's tomorrow, and I promised her I'd get it." He nodded slowly. "Well, you might be in luck. Name's Harold. I own a little discount shop over on Ridgefield Road. Picked up a few dolls last week for resale. I'm pretty sure one of them's that Dream Edition." My heart jumped. "Are you serious?" "Sure am," he said, grinning. "They're still in my truck, though. I can show you if you want." I hesitated. Something in me, something small but sharp, told me to be careful. I glanced toward the front of the store where the mall security guard, Rick, stood near the entrance. I'd seen him around before. "Hey, Rick," I called out, half joking, half testing the air. "You got any of those magic dolls in the Lost and Found?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Rick laughed, the kind that came from deep in his chest. "Wish I did, ma'am. Those things are harder to find than parking at Christmas." I managed a tired smile. "This gentleman here says he's got one in his truck. I'll be right back." Rick's eyes flicked toward Harold, studying him for half a second. Not hostile, just cautious. Then he nodded. "All right, ma'am. Just be careful. Parking lot's been sketchy lately after dark." "Thanks, Rick," I said, and followed Harold out through the sliding glass doors. The parking lot was nearly empty, the orange lights buzzing weakly above a sea of wet asphalt. Most shoppers had already gone home. The air had that sharp metallic chill that stings your lungs. I pulled my coat tighter around me. Harold's truck sat way out near the back under a single flickering lamppost. "Why so far out?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light. He chuckled. "Easier to load stuff. Plus, no one dings your doors out here." "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "Makes sense." He opened the back door of the truck with a squeal of old metal. Inside were several cardboard boxes, all taped shut. He started rummaging through them, muttering under his breath. I know I had one left. Somewhere. I shifted my weight from foot to foot, watching my breath fog in the cold air. Then he stopped. "Ah, here we go," he said, turning slightly. I took a step closer and everything went black. A sharp chemical smell filled my nose. A rough hand pressed a damp cloth over my mouth. I tried to scream, but the sound barely made it past my throat. My limbs went heavy. The last thing I saw before the world slipped away was Harold's cold, empty smile. When I woke, I was lying on a cold metal floor. My wrists and ankles were bound with something tight and rough. The air reeked of gasoline and sweat. "Good morning, sunshine." Harold's voice drawled from somewhere in the dark. Panic flared in my chest. What do you want from me?" My voice cracked, trembling. He crouched beside me, shining a flashlight into my face. His eyes were dull, dead things, like he hadn't seen another human being in years, just targets. "You know," he said quietly, "I get moms like you all the time. Desperate, running around trying to make their kids happy. You'd be shocked how many follow a stranger just for a toy." Tears burned down my face. Please, just let me go. I have a daughter. She's only 7. He smiled faintly. "That's sweet. I've got 2 of my own. You know how it is, bills, birthdays, never enough money. So I make mine by selling folks like you." I stared at him, shaking. "You're lying." He leaned closer, his breath hot and sour. "You'll see soon enough." I started sobbing, thrashing uselessly against the ropes. He stood up, muttering to someone else I couldn't see, a second voice moving in the shadows. Then, sirens, faint at first, but growing louder. "Shit!" Harold shouted, slamming his fist against the van wall. The whole vehicle shuddered. "How the hell?" The van swerved hard. I felt the tires screech, the sudden stop slamming me against the metal floor. Before I could even breathe, a voice boomed from outside. "Police! Put your hands where we can see them." Gunshots cracked through the night. The doors burst open. Hands, gloved, firm, grabbed me, pulling me out into the blinding blue and red light. My eyes burned. Voices shouted over each other. "We got her! She's alive!" It didn't feel real. Like I'd fallen out of a nightmare and into another world. One where I could finally breathe. At the police station later, an officer sat across from me, his tone soft but steady. "Your friend from the mall, Rick, he saw you leave with that guy. Said something didn't feel right, so he followed you in his car. When he saw you get dragged into the van, he called it in and tailed them till backup arrived." I broke down right there, sobbing. He'd saved my life. Rick came by that night, still in uniform, his face tired but warm. "You all right, ma'am?" he asked gently. "I don't even know how to thank you," I whispered. He shook his head. "You don't have to. I got a little girl too. Couldn't just watch that happen." The next morning, before Lily even woke up, my phone rang. It was Rick again. "Sorry to call this early," he said, his voice lighter this time, "but I thought you'd want to know. One of the store managers found a Daniela dream doll in the back storage room. Said you could come pick it up." I couldn't stop crying. When Lily unwrapped that doll that morning, she squealed so loud it made me laugh for the first time in days. Rick stopped by that evening. I made spaghetti simple and warm and insisted he stay. He smiled across the table. "Guess we both kept our promises, huh?" It's been 15 years since that night. I still think about it sometimes, not with fear, but with gratitude. For Rick, for the second chance I got. I still have that doll. Lily keeps it in her room, its hair a little frayed, its dress faded with time. And every time I see it, I remember, no matter how